Hello everyone, it's Kathy Champion and you're back here in my craft room and on my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stamping. We have been working on our little mini album and this is what it's going to look like. I did temporarily, this is just in with some temporary adhesive. I just wanted to lay some paper inside to see if this is what I want. Now I need to trim this down just probably about 1/8 of an inch on both sides because I don't want it to impede this the fold where it comes together because it will cause it to buckle. So we got our mechanism in and I re-recorded this, so I'm going to show you exactly how to do this mechanism and how to glue it in before we go any further. So what you're going to need, and I had recorded a video prior to this one, but when I started editing it, I wasn't pleased with the way it was turned out. I didn't want to confuse anybody, so what I did is I made a cheat sheet. And this is going to be available, all of this will be available under the video, but this gives you all the measurements for our album, our binding, and what we're getting ready to cover today, which is our pages. So you're going to make 4 pages, and I'm going to show them to you in the most simplest form. Then I'm going to show you how you can jazz it up, and the way I did one of mine. So let's go ahead and let me show you how to do the binding. And I'm going to move everything out of my way, and I'm going to grab a piece of cardstock, and I think I can use a scrap for this. This right here will work. You want to make your binding the color that you wrapped your album in. So I wrapped mine in the red, so I made my binding red. So, but I'm going to show you on white just how simple it is to make this. So what you're going to need to do is cut, and I'm going by my cutting guide here. The binding you need to cut 1 at 1.5 by 5 and 11/16. Now don't let that 11/16 scare you away because it is going to be 5. And we're going to count our 16ths. So we're just going to count each tick mark over, starting at the first one closest to the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it's going to be the 1 tick mark before you get to the 3/4. And if you want to cut it at 3/4 to make it simpler for you, by all means, go ahead and do that. So that's going to be the length that we need. So now we're going to cut the width. I need 1 at 1.5. So I'm going to come to 1, move it over to 1.5, and I'm going to cut that one. And then I need the second one to be 2 1/4. So I'm going to bring it over to 2 1/4. And cut that. Now we're going to do some scoring. The scoring is going to be so simple. So on the short end to the top of your scoreboard or trimmer, whatever you're using, we are going to move it over 1/2 inch. So when I move over, and I'm going to do it this way, gives me a little something to hang on to. But if you put it in your scoreboard, just put it in the corner, score it at 1/2 inch. So I'm going to move that cut blade out of my way, and then I'm going to score that. And then I'm just going to turn it around, completely around, line it up again on that 1/2, and I'm going to score that. That's all we need to do for this piece. So we're going to take our 1.5 inch piece and do the same thing. We're going to bring it over to 1/2 inch, close our arm, give it a good score, raise it, do a complete flip to the other side, line it up, close it down, and score. And that's all you need to do for your binding. It makes the binding on this album the simplest binding that you will ever do. So what I want to do now is I want to just fold and crease these score lines. You really want to varnish them really well give them a really, really super good crease. And then we're going to do the same thing for the small piece. And bring this piece over and burnish it down as well. Now before I put these together, this is something that I found makes it much easier to put your pages on. If you just grab your paper snips, and if you will cut off the corner right here. So I'm just going to angle cut like that, turn it around, and from that side up, an angle cut. I'm going to do the same thing, let's see, from this side, and then turn it and angle cut on that side. So when you finish your cuts, you're going to have little angles in on all four corners of that piece. And the reason for that, when you get ready to put your pages on, that is going to make your pages so easy to fit down in there. So I'm going to take this piece and do the same thing. And I'm doing this before I glue anything in. Just a way to take a little bit of that bulk out, give an angle to those binding strips, and it just makes everything go together much easier. Now, all you're going to do is put some glue, or you can use two-sided tape right here. And I'm going to go ahead and show you. Let's get our glue. Alright, so all I'm going to do is on this back piece, I'm going to lay a line of glue. And then I want to eyeball center, and I'm just going to glue this into this piece. This is why I like to use glue. It gives me a chance to wiggle it, get it nice and straight and even. You want to look and make sure that you've got about the same amount on each side. Once you know you do, go ahead and press it down, and that is your binding. That right there is your binding. So all you'll do at that point is put glue, and on this I would probably put adhesive and glue. And if you have a little bit hanging over, not a big deal, just take your scissors and snip that off, just like that. But then what you're going to do is put adhesive and glue on the back of this, and then you're going to sit it in right in the middle of your album. And you want to make sure that you've got a nice even amount on both sides when you put that in. Once you glue that in, then we're at this point right here. Now I got overzealous, I was off camera and I wasn't thinking. This is actually my front. I went ahead and glued down my piece of designer series paper, and this is from the Gingerbread and Peppermint 6x6 paper pad. And I just measured the front of my album and I cut my piece accordingly, and I think this piece is 5 7/8 by 5 7/8. Yeah. So, and I didn't mean to glue this down yet, but I did, so I'm going with it. These pieces are, like I said, they're just temporarily on here, so we can peel these up. But these are going to go here because I love this color, and I think it adds really well to the color of the album. All right, enough about that. If you have any questions, just let me know about the binding. This is one of the most simplest bindings that you will ever put together. So the next thing is I want to bring these measurements back over, because we're going to start now with the page base. And our page base, we're going to need, let me grab, for your page base, you're going to have two pieces. You're going to have one piece, why don't I use this one? You're going to have one piece that's cut at 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. And if you notice on here, this is our page base cut for and they're going to be cut at 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. And then your next piece is going to be this piece, and this piece is cut at 6 3/4 by 5 3/4. You're going to score a 1/2 inch on the 6 3/4 inch piece. So I'm going to show you how to put this together. So all you're going to do is after you score these at a 1/2 inch, you're going to burnish it down really well, both sides. This is going to give you a piece that's exactly 5 3/4. Now I'm going to put this to the inside. So I'm going to, that way my writing's not showing. You know, it doesn't matter because we will use cardstock over this, so I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it like it is. Okay, so now you have these two pieces. This is crucial because this is going to make your pocket, your page pocket that is going to, everything's going to build off of this, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to burnish it down again. Burnish it down. Then I'm going to take some liquid glue. Still cleaning glue off of this bottle because it did ooze a little bit. That's okay. Then on these 1/2 inch strips, I'm just going to lay down some glue, both sides. And then we are going to take this. It doesn't matter which way it goes on this one because it's the same. It's a square, 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. Now I like to hold it up like this and just make sure that I'm getting everything nice and square, and that gives me a way to make sure everything is squared up. Then I press it down, and this becomes a page. And you see these slots right here? You're going to always, as you're building your pages, make sure your openings is to the right and the left. So this will be the front of our page, this will be the back of our page, and I'm going to write front. I'm going to turn it over and write back. Everything is going to build off of here, and it needs to go in this direction. So your closed ends will be to the top and bottom, just like that. So then we start working on our pieces that we'll glue on top of this. So we have a front flap, and this piece is 5 3/4 by 6 1/4, and we score it on the 6 1/4 inch side at a 1/2 inch. So once you score that, you fold it. We're going to put some glue on it, and we're going to put this right over to the edge of that opening, lining everything up perfectly. So I am going to add some glue, and what I'm doing right now is I'm building a skeleton. This is basically just the workings of our album. So there's your front flap. Now if you wanted to use a decorative punch like I did, this would definitely be the time to do that. So you can go ahead and do that. If you have a die that you want to use to make a pretty border, you can do that. Alright, that's our first page that's in. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make this little pocket, and this is our front pocket. Everything's in order. So the front pocket, it tells you you're going to cut 5 of those, and you are going to put, they measure 3 3/4 by 4 1/2. We're going to add glue on 3 sides of this. If you want to use a decorative punch, by all means do that here. I'm going to angle this off like so, and that one off like that. And then this piece, you're going to put down your designer series paper, and then you will add this pocket over top with glue on 3 sides. Now, I have some temporary adhesive right here in the middle. Let's see if I can get that off. I can always bring in my Xyron eraser to get that off, but let's see. If you don't have one of these gum erasers, you really need to get one, because if you get adhesive, or temporary adhesive especially, on here, or the glue oozes out and it's just not where you want it, you can use these little gummy erasers, and they're gummy. They're very flexible. I heard somebody say that they even have them at the Dollar Tree, but if you can't find them at your Dollar Tree, you can definitely go on Amazon, and they're just called a Xyron eraser. They were actually developed for the Xyron machine that puts adhesive on the back of things. So no glue on that now. So we're ready to okay, that's our back. Here's our front. So now we're ready to put this pocket in right here. So glue on 3 sides. And there's a lot of other things that you can do to make this really cute. Now, I would put designer series paper on my pocket. I would have a real pretty paper here that matches the paper or coordinates with the paper that you are doing your pocket out of. So get that glued down. Now here you have another page that you can work with. If you put designer series paper, you want to make sure you cover up your flap right here. But that's all we need to do for that front pocket. We turn it over to the back. And now on our back, we are going to build our large, I got it right here, our back large flap. So this is the back large flap. It's 5 and 3 3/4 this way by 6 inches this way, and on the 6-inch side you want to score at a 1/2 inch, furnish it in really well, and then put glue on that tab. And see, my temporary adhesive is not wanting to cooperate, so I'm going to peel that off just a little bit. And I'm going to take my glue, just run a nice little line of glue across there. I like to put my glue down and then come back and kind of smudge it so that it's kind of even. Again, I'm checking to make sure that my openings are on this side. So now I'm going to glue this to the top. And to do that, I am going to bend that right there, bring it up to the top, make sure I'm even all the way over to the side, press it down. Again, here you could use a decorative punch. A little bit of oozing right there. It's okay. If you get a little oozing, just wipe it off. You're going to be covering this with cardstock. Now we have, that goes like this. Our openings are on each side here. Now we have our small flap. This piece is 5 1/2 by 5 1/4, and on the 5 1/2 inch side we're scoring at 1/2 inch. Again, we're going to burnish that down, and we're going to put this one right over to the side like that. And when you put this one down, you want to make sure, because it's more narrow than the piece on here, so you're going to drop it in the middle, and you're going to have about 1/8 inch on both sides when you glue that down. Again, you can decorate here, however you see fit to do it. So let's go ahead and put this together. And we're going to hold this up again. I'm going to bring it up to the top. I'm going to measure not measure, but eyeball my piece and make sure that it's right where I want it. and then press it down. So now the last thing that we need to do is we have this little pocket that we gusset, and we are going to put that pocket on the inside of this flap. So once you burnish your pieces and your flaps are in like this, then you can add glue. And I like to bring my glue over on all three sides. And then we're going to hold this like that, and I'm going to come down almost to that score line, but not impeding it. Now before you put this pocket down, you're going to put Designer Series paper on that and press. Now this gives us our first signature. So this is going to be the back, so we're going to turn it over, and this is how it works on our binding strips. Now I'm going to show you one that I did that's much more elaborate than this, but I didn't want to confuse you by showing you this procedure without doing it simplified, and then I'll do it complexed. Now that's going to go in just like that, and when you get ready to put that in, these are going to be glued on, and it's going to sit in there just like that with all of your pretty paper on it and all your pockets and flaps and what have you. So that is the first signature. These are called signatures, and you're going to build 3 more of them. But I'm going to show you now what my signature looked like with me really dolling it up. So let me get to where my opening is. All right, here is my opening. You see how much thicker this one is? Because I went kind of above and beyond, but I wanted each one of these signatures to have so much depth, and this is what I did. I have a pocket here. My pocket opens this way, so there's a pocket to stuff in some recipes. This is my front. I have another pocket here, and this little Christmas tree, you can put something, write something on it, or we can stamp something. I have another pocket here, and then let's close that up, and then it's going to go up like this. There's a pocket here, another pocket here, but then this folds out. We have this little double gusset pocket here, and I need to put some more glue on that. It came loose. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right there. There we go. I have this little band here, so you can put stuff under there to hold it. And let's see, and that's the front page. Then we're going to flip it over, and then this is our back. I haven't finished the back. We still have this. Look at that. Is that not adorable? I use the stamp set, What's Cooking, and the dies called cooking dies to cut out these little things. I thought how stinking cute, and I'm thinking I might do a waterfall on this page, but I got to put some Designer Series paper over it. So how cute would a waterfall be here? I think it'd be gorgeous. And let's see, this goes this way. Then if we flip this up, we have another opportunity here for more signatures, more flaps, and all of this is going to be decorated. So as you can see, there's a lot of space in one signature to make this your own. Now I'm going to go back over. This piece right here is going to be my last page in my album. So it's going to be the back. This is the front of the back page. So this is going to go on just like this. Let's pull this down. You open up your flap like that, and then you would just slide that in. Just like that, and then that's going to glue in there, and that's going to make your first beautiful signature. So I'm going to close out for this video, and when we come back, I'm going to show you from start to finish how I do each section of this this mini recipe book, because I want to have, I've got 4 areas. So this one's going to be for miscellaneous desserts, you know, those desserts that don't really fall into being cookies or candy or, you know, pies and cakes. So I'm going to have one that's going to be traditional recipes, pies and cakes and quick breads, things like that. I'm going to have one that's totally dedicated to cookies and bars, and I'll have one that's dedicated to candy. So that's going to be what my Christmas album is going to consist of. But you can do yours, and you might not want to do the sweets. You may want to make yours for all of your sides. Maybe have one section that's your sides, one that's your breads, one that's your meats. So you make this your album, however you want it to be. So when we come back, we're going to be working on our next 2 signatures, but now you know how to put a signature together, and all you have to do to add is just cut more flaps, flip them up and out and down, add more pockets, decorate, and make it yours. So when we come back, we'll start working on the way I would do it, but I did want to show you this particular way and how you put those pieces together. So next time I'll show you how to add all those flaps and pockets and decorative issues. So until we craft again, God bless and keep you, and thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please think about doing so. Just click that subscribe button, and you'll see that little bell beside of it. Ring that bell, and it will open up the little menu, and you can choose whether you want all of my video notifications, some of them, or however you would like to get them. But that way you won't miss out on anything that's happening here at Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin'. If you're interested in any of the products that I showed in this video, you can visit my store, and the link for that, my online store. I am a Stampin' Up, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, so you can go to my website and shop for all these beautiful items right there on that link. Thanks so much. God bless. And as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Lord Jesus. He's worthy. Until we craft again, bye-bye.